So all of this is not intuitive because what's intuitive is damage in the body causing symptoms in the body. So if we sprain our ankle, we can predict in a linear way what's going to happen. The pain gets better little by little as it's healing. And if we go out and we walk on it for a mile and the pain gets worse, the tissue injury has worsened. It's not healing, so we get off of it, and then it gets better in a predictable linear way. So when it's the brain, that it's fear in the unconscious brain is what's creating the symptoms. And and it's a neural pathway, the signal that's being sent down that's creating our experience. And when it's the brain, that's what creates this pattern that doesn't make sense for damage in the body, where you can do the activity. If you have a sprained ankle and you walk on it, it's going to hurt when you're walking on it. It's not going to hurt the day later and not hurt while you're walking on it. It's also not going to hurt because you have cognitive exercise or emotional exercise, and those things can also turn on the physical symptoms. And with PEM, sometimes it's fatigue, or often it's fatigue, but it can be lots of different symptoms as well. It can be dizziness and nausea and pain and lots of other symptoms that the brain makes. So the solution also is not intuitive. And so the solution is teaching the unconscious brain that it doesn't really need to be fearing what it thinks it's fearing. And we can only do that by showing it. I mean, we can think it cognitively, and that's part of it. And our brain is paying attention to our thoughts, but that often isn't enough. So it's leaning into it and showing our brain. But again, like Celia was saying, is that if we just jump into it too much without the understanding, then we can make the fear worse. And then we're stuck in this fear symptom loop. And I think that's often what happens if people don't understand the science. Because again, what's intuitive is I have these really debilitating symptoms that are taking me out of life. I can't even get out of bed. How could I not have damage in my body, right? That's not intuitive. But understanding that our brain makes the experience, just like Celia talked about. So instead of staying in bed, resting, so our body can heal, like makes sense when there's structural damage in the body, it's showing the brain that our body's not actually damaged. Yes, there are biochemical changes. That's what our brain signaling does all this very complex medical, biochemical, chemical signal in our body. Absolutely. But the root of it is the brain determining or perceiving, are we in danger and there's fear, or are we safe? So we're putting the cart before the horse. Again, with a sprained ankle, you wait for the pain to get better before you then walk on it again. So you wait for the symptom to go away before you then use it. So this is different. We have to use our bodies first while we have the symptoms, while we connect those symptoms with safe signals, so that we're showing our unconscious brain, look, I'm okay, I'm all right, I'm actually not damaged. And as we do that as a process over time, somewhere out there in the future, our brain finally learns that, okay, I don't need to give this protective warning signal. And so we can't control what our unconscious brain is doing directly. So we can't control the symptoms in our body, and we can't control our automatic thoughts. But what we can control, or I don't like that word, but what we do have agency over is our response to those. So if we can stop responding through fear, and we can respond through self-compassion and science and understanding, then we can lower that fear response. And when we're lowering the fear response over time, that's what rewires those neural pathways and changes them. So I think of it sort of like if you fell off a roof and broke both your legs as a child, and your unconscious brain has learned to associate being at a height with fear. So it's much like the graded exposure of going to a height, is that you have to go to a little bit of a height and experience that with the fear symptoms in place, and then respond to them differently, couple them with safe signals. Joy is can be really helpful. Our brain has difficulty both experiencing joy and fear at the same time. And yes, it is not easy to experience joy when you have overwhelming symptoms, absolutely. But where you can find the littlest bit of joy, or go with a friend, or listen to music, or smile, or tell yourself safe signals that I'm okay, this is just my brain. This is just my brain, and soothe your brain like you would soothe a child that's afraid of the storm outside. You're not going to be mad at it or push it away, but really bring it in and be kind to it and even listen to it and say, what are you trying to protect me from? I appreciate that, but I'm okay. And so again, the more that you connect with your symptoms and respond to them without the fear is rewiring the signals slowly over time.